Hey YouTubers, so I have a ramble right now, a big ass ramble like the big ass cigar about tobacco again. Yes, tobacco, cigarettes, cigars, pipes, chewing tobacco, dipping tobacco, snus, snuff, vaping, hookah. Today is Tobacco Tuesday. Yeah, Tobacco Tuesday like the big ass cigar. Basically, I want to talk about, do anti-tobacco ads scare you? This could go for cigarettes, cigars, chewing tobacco, dip, etc., vaping. Do anti-tobacco ads or anti-smoking ads actually scare you? And the answer is, to me, they don't scare me. So, but I'm curious from you, the viewer, the big ass viewer, like the big ass cigar, do they scare you? When you see a anti-tobacco ad on TV, or more commonly on TV than the radio, because not many people listen to the radio nowadays. But on TV, big ass TV like the big ass cigar, do they actually scare you when you see those pictures of grotesque lungs, or like people with mouth cancer, head and neck cancer, throat cancer, losing their teeth, all that kind of stuff, does that actually scare you? That should actually scare you. To me, it actually doesn't scare me. In fact, when I see those things on TV or on YouTube, big ass YouTube like the big ass cigar like the internet, they actually make me want to smoke more. So it's actually kind of weird to me. They do the polar opposite. They actually make me want to smoke even more. So they don't dissuade me at all from lighting up a smoke. Now, to be fair, I'm not a cigarette smoker. I'm not the targeted audience. I'm not a cigarette smoker or a chewing tobacco user. So I'm not the targeted audience. I am a cigar and pipe smoker, tobacco cigar and tobacco pipe smoker. So I'm not the targeted audience. Most of the anti-tobacco campaigns, like the CDC's Tips from Former Smoker campaigns, are targeted towards cigarette smokers. So I'm not the targeted audience, so I have a little bit of a leeway there. So, but it's like, they don't scare me. I mean, in fact, when I see one of those commercials, I actually want to smoke even more. It's like, so they don't scare me at all. There's been a handful of commercials that have kind of stuck in my head. So, and not just commercials, fucking commercials, but also like, educational documentaries. Like, for example, there are certain educational videos on YouTube about the dangers of tobacco, the health risks involved. And those have kind of stuck in my head because they have certain keywords, not keywords like on a computer, but like keywords in my head, or like phrases in my head that have really stuck in my head. Like one anti-tobacco educational documentary said this person actually choked to death on cancer. So that really stuck in my head. So it's like, there's been a few things here and there that have kind of stuck in my head. And believe me, I'm the first one to admit tobacco is unhealthy. I mean, no shit, it's like, tobacco is fucking unhealthy. I mean, obviously I know that. I know that from firsthand experience. I mean, I wake up every morning and I cough. It's like, I wake up every morning, have a morning cough. It's like, so I'm the first one to admit, obviously it's unhealthy and I really shouldn't do it. And I obviously say in all my videos, all my damn videos, my check-in videos, if you're not a smoker, please don't start. It's like, it's really not a good habit to start. And that's the truth of it. I mean, that's the truth of it. If you're not a smoker, please don't start. I mean, it is not a good habit to start. So if you can avoid using tobacco products in your lifetime, hooray for you. Big pat on the back to you. It's a terrible habit to start. Even cigars like once a week, it's still very bad for you. So the bottom line is, they don't dissuade me from smoking. To some people, they do. I mean, to some people, they really scare the shit out of them. It's like, I was reading a comment on a video on YouTube, and this person said, this scared the living hell out of me. It's like, because they were showing people with, tracheotomies, the hole in the throat, and basically they were saying, obviously this could happen to you if you smoke. You light up a cigarette, you inhale the smoke, you can get larynx cancer and have your voice box removed and have to have a hole in your throat. And the person said, this scares the living hell out of me. So, I mean, obviously to some people they would scare them. To me, it doesn't scare me whatsoever. But to be fair, I have made peace with my choice to smoke. I have made peace. I'm also somebody who's very on alert, very on alert, and I'm looking for the early signs of, health problems. So obviously the morning cough is a regular thing now, but also any changes in my mouth, my tongue, my gums. I'm very, very on alert because probably the biggest risk to pipe and cigar smoker is cancer of the mouth, cancer of the tongue, cancer of the throat. So I'm very on alert. So any, canker sores, ulcers, white or red patches, I'm very, very quick to, keep an eye on it. So, and believe me, if I ever did develop something like that, I would get it checked out immediately. Because the earlier you catch it, the better the prognosis is. Part of the reason a lot of these people in these poor people in these anti-smoking campaigns are, have a poor prognosis is because their disease was caught at a much later stage. So their disease was caught much, much later, and therefore they have a much poorer prognosis, a shitty prognosis in general. So with me, and I'm not saying smoking is healthy by any stretch of the imagination. It's clearly fucking unhealthy. I'm very, very. My attention span is very high, so I'm always, checking the inside of my mouth. I'm always, making sure when I cough, I'm not bringing up any kind of blood. I'm not, hoarse at all. It's like, my attention span is very high. Anyway, that's what it is. So anti-smoking ads, they don't scare me personally, but I'm somebody who is kind of the exception to the rule. Anyway, have a nice day. Bye-bye.